Hi, how you doing? My name is Stephen Boylan and I'm one of the book buyers here at Eason, and I'm delighted to welcome you to this Eason vlog, and I'm also delighted to welcome Mr. Joe Nesbo, crime international bestseller, who's here with his brand new crime novel, Police, which has just been published by Harvill Secker. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're just finishing up on a tour. How's it gone for you?
It's gone real well. I'm astonished by the welcome I've had here in the UK and Northern Holland and today in Ireland.
Fantastic. Are the audiences very different from where you go place to place? Like, would the audiences in Scandinavia, for example, be different from the audiences here, and how would they be different?
Not really. Surprisingly enough, they are, it's more or less the same questions, and they are all interested in the same things, and that's mostly, they are interested in Harry.
Yeah.
Harry Hole, how he's doing, and if he's doing any better in Police than in the previous books.
Very good, okay, cool. And this is the first one that's kind of been published simultaneously with the Norwegian publication. You've kind of been catching up the last few years. Does that make it slightly easier for you to promote the book or to engage it, or does that make any difference to you at all, really?
A little easier. I have to admit that when I first started touring with the books, I had been published in Norway for like 10 years. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I had to go to like Holland to talk about the book that I had written 8 years ago.
Yeah.
That was a bit difficult, but I've gotten used to it. But it's much better now that many of the countries and also already that you are caught up in the series, and so I can actually talk about what I wrote last year instead of what I wrote 8 years ago.
Fantastic. What can we expect from this one?
Police is continuing the series, the story about Harry. Yeah. In Police, we are introduced to old crime scenes for unsolved crimes, and the policemen that were part of the investigation of the old crimes that took place there, they are starting to show up at the old crime scenes dead.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like a cold case kind of idea with it.
Yeah, it's obvious to the police that it's a serial killer who's on the loose. The problem is that their only specialist on serial killers is hard to find, and that's Harry Hole. So at the start of the book, we don't really know where he is. Yeah. There is a man in the hospital who's in a coma. He's showing signs of recovery. He's being closely guarded by the police, and that may or may not be Harry.
Okay, well, okay, so a real thriller. In relation to what people may not know is that we've got a double treat from Joe this year, because Cockroaches, which is an earlier Harry Hole book, is being released in English for the first time in November. So that's a sequel to The Bat, which we had last year, I think.
That's right. It's the second book in the series. So the books have been published a little bit out of order here in the UK and Ireland. So
it's based in Thailand. I think The Bat was in Australia, and then
that's right. That was books before Harry went back to Oslo and started working from Oslo.
Okay, very good, cool. We have huge dedicated fan base for yourself, but also for crime books generally. What kind of crime books would you recommend for people once they finish Police and once they finish Cockroaches and have read all your backlist? What should they move on to?
I would go back in time to one of the classics. Okay. To Jim Thompson, who is maybe not as well known as his colleagues Raymond Chandler and Dashiell Hammett, but for me, he was the greatest. I would recommend two of his books, maybe The Killer Inside Me and Population 1280. Which
is the film that was released, I think, was the last year or the year before. Yeah, fantastic. Working away on the next book?
Sorry?
Are you working away on the next book?
I am. I'm always working on a book. Now it's not a Harry Hole book, but it's a standalone called The Sun, which will be published in Norway in March next year, and hopefully over here a month later or something.
Great stuff, we look forward to that. Thanks very much, Joe, for coming in and seeing us, really appreciate it. Don't forget you can buy Police, Cockroaches in November, and all of Joe's backlists in Eason stores and on easons.com, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks very much.